Hey there, it's Michelle Spiva. How are you doing today? Woo, okay, so today is it's overcast, it's dark, it's rainy outside, but it's also day 5 of my self-leadership project called Leader of One. And I'm coming to you with updates of where I am right now to invite you into the group. Someone reminded me that I wasn't posting links for them to help sponsor this. So I got all that stuff. So before I forget, let me say this now. Yes, I do have a Patreon sponsor link. And if you just go to Patreon, patreon.com/Michelle Spiva, you'll see the stuff there. So thank you for those. Yeah, thank you for those 2 people that reminded me. You have a Patreon link. You need to allow us to help sponsor this. So thank you so much. So yeah, I appreciate all of that because I am not, charging anything for you guys to come along with me, and I am sharing what I'm doing. Okay, so with that out of the way, if you want to join the group for this, and I do have to post from yesterday and today because yesterday got out of hand, I was just tired. You can go to facebook.com/groups/leader of one. And provided you have a real profile and you, look like you're not crazy. No, I'm just playing. We do review the profile before we put you in, but we'll get you in there, okay? If you have a sincerity to want to do this with us. All right, so welcome to day 5. Day 5 is, day 5. I can just tell you, I'm tired. I guess you could tell even by my hair I'm tired. Day 5 is activate to execute. So now let me tell you where we are in this. So the first 2 days I spent prepping myself and inviting others. The next day I started organizing by starting to brain dump and figure out the stuff that was on my plate. And then the third day, so day 3, a couple of days ago, was the start of my first full week of really doing this. And I'm gonna tell you, be careful what you strongly commit to, because resistance is always there waiting on you. Okay, so what I am going to be talking about today is you have to activate energy in order to start executing. It is something to get sorted out and simplify and begin to get clarity on what you want. It's another thing with execution and implementation. And those are some of the things I've really been working on of late, is understanding for myself how to execute and then implement. And so, hey, Vaughn, I'm going to be talking about what that looks like for me, inviting you, and, just talking a little bit about it today, because you can't do anything. It's something about getting stuff here and then getting it out and getting it going. Have you ever had it where you have all these bright ideas and you may even get started on them only to not finish? Well, that's what I'm talking about today. And I'm actually tomorrow going to be talking a little bit about implementing, because today I've been really working on some execution stuff. And the execution stuff has not been sexy, but it has been hard. I'm going to just tell you, it has been hard because I am coming up against resistance. I am coming up against those shadowy sides, those dark, deep parts, that lurk so effectively and cunningly in the back of our minds, but they are the saboteurs of what we say we want to do. So let me break this down. So I was telling you about where we are. So on the beginning of the week, that was starting to help get reasons and whys for what I was doing to help me to prioritize. And so yesterday I was looking at one in sums, doing one thing and then having a sum of it, to build up to something. And so today has been about the execution, the activation and execution of some of this. Thanks, Iman. Yes. And because of that, I have been having to confront, the old people when I was growing up, they used to call them haints, your haints. You know, those are your shadows in academia. And the psychology side, Carl Jung would have called them your shadow parts. But I've been confining them today. Like, for instance, I told you guys there are different little Kaizen things I do. So, like, for instance, when I go to the bathroom, there are certain little things I do. And when I go to the bathroom, after I finish, you know, come out of the bathroom because, you know, I don't want to be in there exercising. But there are a few things I do. Like, I try to, not try, because today I was doing them, 12 squats. And then I'll finish up with 1 minute of a plank. Yes, Lord, yes. And just by even activating that to start executing on those little one and sums today, I was confronted with, to the point where I was like, well, maybe I don't drink as much water today, so I don't have to go to the bathroom as much. You know, it is sad what happens, but this is why I'm doing this publicly. This is why I'm being accountable, because I know if I'm going through it, y'all got to be going through it too. You know, actually reasoning, don't drink the water so you don't have to go to the bathroom, so you don't have to do your planks. Come on now, you know. So, what I was actually, you know, thinking of was, nobody will know if I only did 3 of them. That's 36 squats and 3 minutes of planks. But that's not what I said I was going to do. And so, yes, I drank some water, so I'm not about to fall out, y'all. And I got my steps in, you know, and all of that. And it's so funny because yesterday I talked about the Kaizen principle of doing one little thing for like maybe 1 minute. And I talked about how I had to learn that when you do that one little thing, it does not alleviate the struggle of doing it. It's just that it can be manageable. And today, y'all, I'm struggling because I still got a lot more day left. And I know that I still got more squats and planks to do when I go to the restroom. So I'm not saying this for pity, but I'm just being honest. Okay, so now let me all kidding aside, let me talk about Activate. There's a book I want to recommend, and it is called 5-Second Rule. And Mel Robbins wrote it, and it is a wonderful layman's take on something that I've known for a while. And what she does is she uses this 5-second rule where she counts down and she says go, to be able to give herself the activation energy to start executing on what needs to be done. Just like when you go to a well that has not been pumped for a while, you have to pump it a lot, and it takes a lot of energy to get going. You know, most times if you're all locked down in your feelings, and I'm going to be talking about that a little while because that's coming up as well, when you really seeped down in your feelings of resistance, of not wanting to change, of not wanting to move into movement instead of stagnation or stillness, these are things that you have to do. You have to use more energy to get started. Like, for instance, I was talking to someone about their resistance to starting to take control over their eating. And they had to admit to themselves and to me that part of the problem was the pain of having to use a lot of energy to get going. And I mean, I wish I could tell you that, it's going to be easy. Just doing 1 minute of a plank is easy. Just doing 12 squats every time you go to the bathroom is easy. No, it's not. There's going to be struggle, but I'm going to tell you, in struggle is where you grow. You know, if everything came easy, if everything it was frictionless, had no resistance, we would not be able to do the things in the future that we weren't able to do in the past. So, you know, embrace them and know that and love them as your teachers. So, activation. Now, one of the things that I have had to learn, being my own boss, having to rely on myself to get money coming into the house every month, is that there is a difference between implementation and execution. And, and so for me, and this is just my opinion, you can beg to differ or whatever. For me, I used to think that I had to implement to execute. And I was actually even taught that in formal settings. But now I've switched those, because now for me, just for me, it might work for you or not, I have learned that I have to activate to execute to implement. So what does that look like? That means that saying, just do it by Nike, that comes in the beginning. It comes after a 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, Michelle, go get it. When you got to get out of the bed, when you got to get on the treadmill, when you got to write, when you got to do stuff, when you got to sit and not get up and do everything else you want to besides what you're supposed to be doing. When you have a schedule, and I'm going to briefly talk about a schedule too. When you have this schedule, you're in that time slot to do something and you're not doing it. That's what I'm talking about when I'm talking about activating. So some of the quick ways, going back to referring to the 5-second rule book by Mel Robbins, the gist of it is when you get the thought or that there is something you're supposed to be doing, you count down. Just like a rocket going off. You count down. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. Now, I will tell you to make this even stronger. Count down, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, call your name and say go. And the reason why is because when you do that, you are knocking yourself out of the trance of stagnation. You are hardwired to respond to your own name. And yes, you could do it yourself. I dare you to try it tomorrow morning when you get up, whether you're going to work or there's something you have to do. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, Michelle, go, and obey it. And you're going to be amazed at how much more help and propulsion you get to achieve that. So you have to activate execution, because you can't slide into execution, because you'll be sliding into execution this time next year. One of the things that I suffered with this year was a slow progression. And it was because I was not leading myself daily to remember I got to activate. I've got to activate to execute and implement. And so what this looks like is today for me has been all about quick activation, quickly getting stuff done, and getting the small wins. I talked about this day 2, where I talked about simplification and brain dumping and then looking for the things that you can get quick small wins. Well, for me, quick small wins is when I go to the bathroom and I do the 12 squats and the 1 minute of planks. Now, mind you, that only takes me approximately 75 to 90 seconds. But in that 75 to 90 seconds of knocking out 12 squats properly, and then jumping on that floor with my timer on my phone and getting that 1 minute of planks in, oh my God, it is hard. But each time I finish it, I get a sense of, wow, I got a win. I got a victory. And so that is what I'm talking about when you have to activate to execute, because guess what? I already have three wins already. And the next one is just going to help me get further and further so that I am building up a momentum to take on the bigger tasks. So that now, as I know that I still got 6,000 words to write today. As I know I still have these words to finish today, I know that I've got some wins under my belt. And I also know that if I just do a quick activation, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, Michelle Wright. And I know that, for me, I work in 50-minute sprints when I'm doing this kind of stuff. I know that there's a container. I know that if I just stay focused for 50 minutes, I get a 10-minute break. I know that at this time I'm going to eat. I know at this time I'm going to do that. I've already done my steps. I've already done some administrative work. So I've got wins under my belt. So in recap, for this project of self-leadership, to help you to do more, to help you to do what you say, and beyond that, it is not only a good thing to have sorted out what you want and what you don't want, to get organized and start to prioritize by looking at reasons and whys for doing stuff. It's not even a good thing just to know the one and sums that you're going to do. You now have to put your money where your mouth is, and you got to start executing. And that execution comes by activating quickly. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Michelle, go. Whatever your name is, go and do it. Do you have to do the same thing I do? No, of course not. It's up to you. When you do your own self-leadership, when you go through and do your own brain dump, and you look for the quick wins that you can get that affect change in your life, start doing them. If that means that you go into a room that you've been needing to organize, and you stay in there for 5 minutes, and in that 5 minutes, you start organizing just what you can organize in 5 minutes. Set a timer. Think about, you go in there and you not just stare around and get overwhelmed, but pick up something, fold it up, or put it away, or put it in to go to the charity, or whatever it is. But start with little small Kaizen, gradual changes, but they are still activated by that 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Do it. All right. So I hope this is making sense for you guys. This is where I am today. Tomorrow, most likely, unless something changes, I'm going to be talking about implementation. And implementation has to do with my schedule and how how it's evolving each day based on where I am and what needs to come forward, because the best laid plans always get wrecked, and there's always going to be something that happens that comes to change up your schedule. And so I'm going to be talking about how I implement to get stuff done. Hey, Candace, because it's a difference by saying, oh, I'm going to do all of this, I'm going to do all of that, and even having a plan to do it. And then what happens when your child's school calls and says, you got to come pick up your baby, or whatever it might be, to throw you off? There is a way to continue to try to adhere to implementation, and it is simply in not being so stringent, but allowing the little activations throughout the day, the little burst of activations to help you execute to get a small win, so that when you look back over your day, you may not have gotten everything done, but you have gotten some things done. I will say that I am going back to the classics, honey. I'm going back to stuff, the classic way of doing things, the top 6 things. Now that I know what's important, working on those. What I get done, great. If I don't get it done, those things move up to the top the next day, but I always leave a space for the unexpected. But I think I'm getting into what I'm going to talk about tomorrow, because I really got to finish working on that today as well. But you guys, thank you so much for participating. Thank you so much for joining me. And thank you for those people who reminded me that, hey, I like what you're doing and I want to help sponsor, me being able to continue to do this. Thank you as well. And so if you're looking at how to join the group, it's in the description, as well as if you want to become a sponsor, it's in there as well. And so I will talk with you all tomorrow. If you're already in the group, I'm going to be posting a few things, including an event where I'm going to be doing a live stream for you all that are exclusively in the group. All right, so I'll talk to y'all tomorrow. Thanks. Bye.